Leading up to today's non-waiver trading deadline, numerous trades, big and small, were made around the majors. Right now, Michael Kay joins us from Chicago to talk about the approach the Yankees took during deadline season. And, Michael, I have to ask you, once that 4 p.m. Eastern time deadline passed, were you surprised the Yankees didn't make a major move?
I was a little bit surprised because I think they were a little short in their starting pitching, and I thought they could solve that either by making a trade to make their bullpen better and make their starters into 5-inning starters, or get a starter. They didn't have to get a number 1 type starter, but somebody to plug in, especially with the injury to Pineda and the way that CC Sabathia is pitching. But they have belief that they've gotten to this point with what they have right now, that they're not going to give up their top prospects to get a pitcher, maybe a rental for 2 months.
Let's talk about that philosophy, Michael. Brian Cashman has been out there often saying, listen, I'm not trading the Judges, the Severinos, the Birds, or the Mateos. It's obviously an organizational philosophy. What do you think about that philosophy?
Well, you know what? I think it had to happen because I think the days where you could buy World Series with money, they're gone. Every team has a lot of money, and you're not seeing great players get to the free agent market. And then when you have pitching, if you're going to pay for pitching, the back end of the pitching contract is probably going to be lost money anyway. The Yankees are trying to do something that's very difficult to do, Jack, and you know this. They're trying to win now and also rebuild their farm system. They don't want to give away those top prospects, and they certainly could have gotten really big-time players for a short period of time and lose guys that could be stars for them down the road. The thing is, this puts a lot of pressure on this organization that Judge, Bird, Severino, and Mateo become big-time players for the Yankees.
Why don't we talk about Severino? I found it interesting. About an hour after the deadline passed, Brian Cashman spoke to the beat writers of the Yankee organization and said, listen, Severino's coming up. His next start is going to be at the major league level, so he is ready to contribute. Michael, what kind of an impact can this pitcher have?
Well, if he can be the pitcher that they think he's going to be, because they think he's a top-of-the-rotation guy. He's not a number 4 or a 5 or even a 3. They think he could be a 1 or a 2. And then Brian also said in that conference call there is no innings limit on Severino. So if he can come in and pitch as well against the Red Sox, I think that, A, energizes a fan base that might be a little disappointed that the Yankees didn't do anything today, and then energize a team as well. When you could bring in youth and that kind of feeling of vitality, I think that is so important for a team, and it could be the first of many that this farm system, which is being rebuilt, starts to produce and helps the Yankees win.
I think you're absolutely right, Michael. The fact that there's no innings limit on Severino and he can contribute for the rest of the season without limitations, that's very big. There seems to be no limit on the amount of positions that Dustin Ackley can play. The Yankees did make a trade yesterday, picking him up from the Seattle Mariners for 2 minor league players. Your thoughts on what Ackley brings to the Yankees?
Well, they've loved him for a long time. It's been a constant pursuit of Dustin Ackley, and they've been rebuffed time after time. This guy was a number 2 overall pick in the draft, so you know he has talent. With North Carolina, he was a very good player. The Yankees have long felt that he has the perfect stroke for Yankee Stadium and that they could fix whatever's wrong with him. So they take a flyer on him. They don't weaken their big league club. I don't think the 2 players that they gave up were going to be big contributors to the Yankees down the line. And the way they looked at it with the roster move that they made, they designated Garrett Jones for assignment. They're both lefty hitters, but the tiebreaker in this is the fact that Dustin Ackley's a better outfielder and a better first baseman than Garrett Jones. So the Yankees might be looking at Ackley as a second baseman in the future, but for this year he's going to play all around and give Joe Girardi a lot of maneuverability off his bench.
Great insight from Michael Kay. We'll hear him doing play-by-play in the game in a little bit. We want to thank Michael.